Hey guys, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Melissa, and welcome to my chaotic mess. So, is this better? No, this isn't better. I'm trying to find a good place where there's not a lot of glare. It's just, we live in Florida, and I just don't think it's going to be possible. So, I'm going to see. But anyway, today's video is a little different because it is kind of a collaboration / challenge given to us by our little gingerbread house. If you have not seen her channel, everyone that's doing the collab will be linked down below in the description, so I definitely recommend going to watch their videos after you watch this one. But basically it's a mukbang challenge. We were challenged to go to either McDonald's or Burger King and do a car mukbang. I've kind of done one of these before in the past, and my phone overheated and died. Again, I live in Florida, so hopefully it won't happen. Just, I feel like the air is too loud, so I have to turn it down, but oh my god, it's hot. It's 96 degrees according to the car. Anyway, I went to McDonald's. I went to Burger King. Well, for one, McDonald's is not my favorite, so Burger King's not really my favorite either. But between the two, Last time I had McDonald's, it really upset my stomach. And the last time I had Burger King, it wasn't so bad as far as my stomach went. So that's why. Also, oh my god, that's huge. I got the Bacon King. Look at, it's basically their version of the Baconator, which I guess is a big sandwich, but I didn't see like a son of a king version. So anyway, and I wanted to try their bacon burger because I don't think I've ever had their bacon burger. Anyway. Ooh. Sorry, I don't know what that was. So anyway, I was on my way to this parking lot because I want to go to the Dollar Tree and see if they've gotten any of the fall things I need to do this DIY. I'm starting to think they're not ever going to get fall stuff out. I see so many YouTubers posting Dollar Tree hauls, and they've gotten all this cool fall things. I've been to four different Dollar Trees. One of them not even in my area. One of them wasn't by my dad, and none of, I mean, they've had bits and pieces of fall stuff, but nothing I need for the DIY, and not nearly as much as a Dollar Tree normally would have. I seriously hate the Dollar Trees in Florida. What is up? Like, I picked the worst parking lot. I was gonna park in the Burger King parking lot, but there was no shade there either. And of course, now the sun is going to come out, so hopefully my phone doesn't overheat. If it does, I'll let it cool down and we'll continue. But anyway, what can we talk about? So I started a segment called Let's Get Real. We've had, well, by the time you see this, we've had 2 episodes. The first episode was about grief. I can tell you, I wish I would have written out questions for that one because it wasn't very organized, and I'm a pretty organized person, and I figured, you know, it would just be something that flowed. But I think the main issue is it's a topic Crystal and I, aside from our stories, but just grief in general, it's something that we tend to talk about a lot. So we both know each other's stories already, and we both casually always mention things about grief here and there. And so it was really hard to think of stuff because it's like, well, didn't we just talk about this? But I don't know. Like, I can't even remember what we said on the episode and what was said off the episode. So, I don't know. But anyway, this week's episode, which, again, if you're watching this, it's already been aired, but it's actually being filmed tomorrow. And it's going to be about our past jobs, likes, dislikes, crap like that. And we actually wrote out a bunch of questions so that if, you know, we start to go off topic or whatnot, we have a guideline to get us back on topic. So this one, I planned out a lot more, and hopefully it will flow a little more easier than the last one. I didn't expect these to be like super easy to do, but I figured it wouldn't be too hard either because it's just basically two friends talking. But I don't know, it's a lot harder when you're, because like when me and her are just chit-chatting away, we just talk, and this is a lot I don't want to say more scripted because it's definitely not scripted, but it's more on topic. So my husband went to Wendy's. It's more on topic rather than how we would normally talk, which is we'd start talking about one thing and then 2 seconds later we'll be on like a completely different topic. Also, I think I mentioned this before, I wish Burger King had the ketchup packets like Wendy's does, where you can dunk your fries. And normally I don't like ketchup, but here lately I've been on a real big ketchup kick. I don't know what it is. And no, I'm not pregnant. It's impossible. Well, not impossible. It'd be a God-given miracle. How about that? Because I've been told by many doctors that it wasn't possible. So, but I don't like to say that it's not possible because I feel like nothing's impossible. If you get my drift. Like, I have never seen like a fertility specialist per se, so there's no, you know, I've not been told that I couldn't possibly have in vitro or something like that. But naturally having children, I've been told it's not possible. So, I was trying to think of things I wanted to talk about on my way here, and then, of course, I turn the camera on, my mind goes blank, but anyway, it's August 10th. I'm ready to decorate for fall. I've actually contemplating digging out the fall totes and starting early. And I think, because normally I don't decorate for fall until after Labor Day, but I think since I already took the summer stuff down, I might decorate for fall like a week before September. And let's just be honest, I might cave and do it even sooner than that. But I do have to watch my time too, because I have to reset this every so often. Because my phone is stupid, and since I move my footage from the phone to the computer, for some reason, if it goes past 15 minutes, it won't transfer. So, anyway, so when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna go into the Dollar Tree. This is a Dollar Tree I haven't been at for about 2 months or so. So I haven't checked their fall section. And really it's because I don't come up here very often. But after I go to Dollar Tree, are you kidding me? This person is going to park right next to me. I hate people. Anyway, after we go to Dollar Tree, we're going to go to Winn-Dixie. I gotta get, what's that so much? I gotta get a few things for dinner. Well, actually, well, you will have seen, or you might be seeing, I made this hamburger macaroni concoction. I don't know if you've already seen that or if you'll be seeing it in an upcoming episode, because I honestly don't know what's going to come out when. I haven't planned that far ahead in my life, except this video. I know when this video needs to be out. So anyway, that being said, I made this hamburger concoction and I used Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I don't know what happened to the cheese, but it like disappeared off the macaroni. Like, my husband, it was good. My husband said he liked it, he just wished it had more cheese and a little bit more flavor. So tonight we still have a bunch of leftovers of it, so for tonight I'm going to add cheese. Like, I'm gonna add the Taco Bell nacho cheese to it, and I'm gonna add a little bit more spices to it. Not like spicy spices, like we're talking about like garlic and onion powder and stuff like that, because I think back on it and the only thing I actually flavored was the hamburger. So, and that might have actually washed a lot of it away, because the onions and peppers I put in with it caused a lot of moisture. But I still don't know where the cheese went that was on the macaroni, though. That baffles me. Like, that really does baffle me, because the noodles are now white. They are not orange like they were when I put them in. So anyway, we're gonna kind of rig up something. Sorry, my phone did overheat, so I found a new place to park in this parking lot. This is where someone else was parked when I originally got here. They're not here anymore. It's under a tree. It's the only shade in this entire parking lot, so I'm glad they left. So maybe my phone won't overheat now. But what was I saying? I don't remember. Okay, so okay, let's just start talking about other things. As you would have recently seen, our first house that we bought here in Florida sold. A little backstory. I will be doing full in-depth version of the story, but I'm going to be upfront, honest, full disclosure. This house took almost a year to sell. What happened was we put in a contract to have a pool back in March of 2022. Yes. Right? Yeah, March of 2022. So we signed contracts and everything. The pool was gonna happen. It was only supposed to take 3 months from the time that they put a hole in the ground to its completion. They dug a hole July 6th, 2022. So 3 months would have been October. So Justin and I had moved out the beginning of September because he had got his promotion and we had to move. They wouldn't let him drive the 2 hours to work. They said he had to live within an hour of the place. I'm like, okay, whatever. We tried to stay because I didn't want to move. So we're like, okay, the pool will be done in October and we should have no problems selling it then. Well, first let me preface, we didn't put it on the, we were going to put it on the market after the pool was done in October. And we basically we filled the garage with a bunch of stuff because I still wanted to get the house cleaned, right? And so we put everything that we hadn't moved yet into the garage. And it was also stuff we were gonna have we did have a yard sale. We had a yard sale. I want to say we had the yard sale it was after, no, we had the first one like a week after we moved, and then we're like, okay, that's fine. We didn't sell a lot, so we're like, okay, that's fine, we'll just do it again in a few more weeks. Well, a few weeks later, Hurricane Ian happened. And so I could have stayed with my dad, but at that point I wasn't very comfortable with the situation going on. That's a different story altogether. So I didn't really want to stay with my dad. I didn't even want to be at my dad's house without my husband there, because again, there was a whole situation at the time. And so anyway, so I was thankful we had that house still, because we didn't have any power down here for 2 weeks. So even though my husband unfortunately had to come back because he had a store he had to clean up and get back open, I stayed up there with the animals for 2 weeks. Never got invited to dinner. They said we decided we were going to have the yard sale the first weekend after Hurricane Ian, because up where my dad lives, it wasn't so bad. Some places got damaged, but not as bad as down here. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, I'll be up around 6:37 to start setting everything up. So they're like, okay, yeah, we'll come over and help you. I get everything set up, and they don't show up until about 9 o'clock. And I'm like, okay. And they stayed for maybe 20 minutes and left. So that pissed me off, because it wasn't just my stuff I was selling. It was some of my dad's stuff, some of my mother-in-law's stuff. But no one wanted to help me. And so my husband came up Sunday night, and him and I went outside, and we set up to where everything can be in the garage for the following weekend, because we still had a bunch of stuff to sell, and I would only have to pull out a few things. So everything would be set up in the garage. I wouldn't have to move anything except for a couple of bigger pieces of furniture that were that hard to move. And so we get all this set up, and he told them, hey, she's gonna do the yard sale again next weekend. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll come and hang out with her then, since everything's already set up, whatever. So they show up, and mind you, I'm doing the yard sale by myself, so anytime I have to pee or get something to drink or eat or anything like that, I have to leave everything unattended. I have no one there to watch it. And it's like, I really wanted to say to them, do you guys think that I can go all day without having to drink, without having to eat, without having to pee? Because I couldn't. So the good thing is I had Stitch, so anyone that would show up, he would let me know if someone was there, and I could go outside. But yeah, so the next weekend comes, and they don't show up at all. I texted my husband. I was very emotional this day. I made a video. I never posted, I deleted it. But I made a video basically saying how it was done. I'm tired of being alone all the time. I'm ready to go home to someone who actually cares about me, because being there at that house where, my dad is literally a mile up the road, says he's gonna come and hang out, etc., 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 doesn't come. And I just made this video. I'm so tired of being alone. Honestly, if I can't go home soon, I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. Basically, I kept this on my phone, mind you, for about a month or so. Because I was upset. I was literally at the end. Like, I felt like my dad didn't love me anymore. I don't have my mom anymore. And one day when it's not so emotional, because see, I'm getting emotional now. One day when it's not so emotional, maybe I'll talk about what kind of drove a small wedge between me and my dad. It's starting to get a little better, but maybe I'll talk about it. But anyway, so yeah, now Hurricane Ian, if you don't know, last year, the end of September of 2022, Hurricane Ian hit Florida. It was supposed to hit up by the Tampa area, but at the last minute, it stayed south, and it hit like the Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Sanibel Island, all that basically head on. Didn't have enough time to really evacuate before it hit. You know, there was a lot of people saying, well, why didn't these people evacuate? The weather, not 24 hours before it hit, the weather had it going up to Tampa and bypassing them. So by the time they realized it wasn't moving, they did put an evacuation order out, but a lot of people, it didn't have the time, didn't have the resources to find a way to get out, and sadly some people did lose their lives. I don't know the exact number, but anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because a few months, I would say 6 months after Hurricane Ian, my husband had to do job site visits and stuff like that, and on Saturdays occasionally, so I will ride with him to do these. And we went down there, and like, I wish I would have took video of it, but the devastation that like was still there. And even, I mean, when did we go? It's probably been 2 months since we last went down there, and it was still a lot of devastation down there. So next time we go back down in that area, if they haven't fixed up the devastation, I will show you guys. But yeah, like, we're talking buildings that were 6+ stories high, completely gone, like wiped out, completely washed away. Like, they weren't just so bad they had to be demolished. They like literally ceased to exist anymore. That's how powerful. Like, I guess I should finish. If you don't know much about it, it hit land going 8 miles per hour, and that is like super slow for a hurricane, because I don't remember how long or how fast Charlie was. I think it was Charlie that they compare it to. I don't remember how fast that hurricane was going, but it was significantly faster than Hurricane Ian, and that was the last like major hurricane in Florida that caused this much damage. But Hurricane Ian surpassed it damage wise. I don't know if it surpassed it death toll wise. I haven't really looked that far into it, and I know some of y'all are like, why do you even live in Florida if this can happen? Here's the thing. It's like a once every 10 to 20 years type of storm. It's not a every year storm. If Florida got hurricanes like that every single year, I definitely wouldn't live here. But you have to think about it. Every place has their thing. In the Midwest, we had tornadoes, and tornadoes that would devastate towns. Like, we're talking completely wipe out towns. And in the West Coast, well, everywhere really, they have earthquakes, but mainly like in the West Coast, it's more prominent to have earthquakes. We did have earthquakes when I lived in Indiana, so I know they're everywhere. But then you got other places that have like tsunamis and just wildfires and just a bunch of other things that can wreak havoc and cause a lot of damage. So there's really no place in the world you can live where you don't have to worry about some sort of natural disaster happening. And that's the way I really justify it. Like, it's a once every 10 to 20 year storm, because I want to say Hurricane Charlie was maybe 15 years ago. That's why I do the 10 to 20 range. It was somewhere within that range. And Ian was a lot slower than predicted. They saw this as a kind of like flight. It was going to hit hard. It was going to be, it was definitely going to be category 4, I believe. It hit hard. It was, sorry, the predictions was it was going to hit hard but go through quick, and it was just going to go straight through Central Florida. It was going to hit the Tampa area, which everyone says if it would have hit Tampa, it would have just died off anyway, because Tampa has these seawalls out in the middle of the ocean that are supposed to help prevent hurricanes from reaching them. By the way, this is what their version of the Baconator looks like. But so yeah, if that was like an every year sort of situation, I definitely wouldn't live where we live now. That's for sure. I would have looked at my husband and been like, I'm gonna stay in Central Florida. You go where you want. But you know, honestly, hurricanes don't frighten me. What frightens me more, honestly, is earthquakes. And I know that sounds weird to say, but like hurricanes, you usually have enough notice that you can evacuate and get to a safe place. Earthquakes, they just happen. There's really no warning, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. Yeah, they can try to predict earthquakes, but the reality of it is sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, we're probably going to have an earthquake today, and it doesn't happen. And then it happens the day they don't have predicted, and it's super bad. Earthquakes are probably one of the things that would scare me the most. Like, again, we've had them in Indiana, but like, you're talking about minor things. Like, it literally feels like you live next to a train track and that sort of situation when an earthquake happened up there. Whereas I'm sure in California, it would feel like, you know, the end of the world. I'm probably exaggerating, because I've never actually been in a really bad a really bad earthquake, but just the thought of them, that terrifies me. I can do tornadoes, because tornadoes, again, are somewhat predictable. Like, usually you know when a tornado is going to touch down. The only thing unpredictable about a tornado is their path can turn like that. Like, any instant second it can turn. Same thing with a hurricane. Again, Ian, they didn't have a lot of notice. They had some notice. A lot of people did get out, but you have to remember that those like Cape Coral, Sanibel, those are all considered islands. They have to cross bridges. Bridges were backed up. The one bridge was completely wiped out. It's got a temporary bridge up right now. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. It's literally, they're building the actual bridge next to this temporary bridge. So, sorry. I don't know what the difference between a temporary bridge and a normal bridge is, because I don't know, just the idea of a bridge being temporary alone kind of freaks me out. But anyway, yeah. But I'm honestly getting full, and I probably only ate maybe a fourth of this sandwich. The problem is, I wanted a larger drink. I got the medium instead of a large drink, and I really didn't want the larger fries, but they charge you the same amount regardless. So that kind of irritates me, but anyway, guys, I honestly don't remember when we talked about, but I hope you did enjoy this video. If this is something that's out of your comfort zone, I know I like moved around quite a bit. It was definitely, especially like the people walking by. There's been a couple people you probably haven't been able to see them, but they've been walking by, and all of them have like looked over like this and just stared at me as they were walking by. That's kind of uncomfortable for me. It's like, I know they don't know if I'm like on a very important phone call, or you know what I mean? They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know who I'm talking to. I can be on a very important Zoom call for all they know. But yeah, it's definitely out of my comfort zone to do things like this. So I wouldn't do them. I shouldn't say I wouldn't do them regularly, because this is now the second one I've done, but the last one wasn't solely a mukbang, and it wasn't designed to be a mukbang. It was just me chit-chatting with you while I ate, but just, I guess, a mukbang, right? Oh God, I talk too much. Anyway, thank you again for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment questions, concerns. I'd have concerns for me down below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, and be sure to check out the other ladies that are part of this collab/challenge down below in the description, and I will see you lovelies in the next one. Bye.